If we're not at a Disney park, we're dreaming about being there, and a cup of Joffrey's Coffee Disney Blend helps. But what about when you're at a Disney park? The Joffrey's Disney Kiosk and Restaurant Locator will make sure you never miss out, whether it's a cool drink on a hot summer vacation or a great cup of coffee at a Disney signature restaurant. Joffrey's has you covered. Check it out at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily. Thank you.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott.
I'm Bob Collar.
This is ResortLoop.com. I hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
After this fine weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Announcements.
Spring is in the air, I hope. It's got to start warming up eventually up here in the Northeast. Oh my gosh.
It's cold in the South. Even cold in the South, I've seen.
Oh, no, come on. There's a big difference between cold and what we're going through. That's not cold in the South. But anyway, Tim, I'm very excited about this show. Very excited.
I love to hear great stories. Bob, I'd like you to introduce our guest.
Okay. So a little while back, we asked Looper Nation to vote for a young lady by the name of Sarah Kersey for the NASCAR Humanitarian of the Year award. And in the process of learning about Sarah, we found out she was a huge Disney fan.
Who knew this?
And we thought the NASCAR Foundation is our sponsor, our charity that we like to promote. And Sarah's a huge Disney fan. So
Woohoo.
We asked Sarah Kersey to be on the show. Sarah, welcome.
Hi guys, how are you?
Great. How you doing?
Fantastic.
How you doing this fine winter day?
You know what? It has been extremely cold here in Ohio, as you know, but I am doing great and happy to be here talking with you guys.
Excellent, excellent. So we're going to start off first about your love of Disney, and then we're going to talk about this the humanitarian award. But you know, how did that all start for you? How did your love of Disney start?
Oh my gosh. You know, I think that, and I still feel the same way, guys, as I do, you know, from when I was little. And I just remember this pure form of magic, you know, whether it was visiting Disney or watching Disney films or me personally learning about Walt Disney. And I just remember feeling like there was something special about Disney. And as I've gotten older, you know, I'm a third grade elementary school teacher, and I have just been able to incorporate all of this into, you know, my teaching as well. And I just think it's the purest form of magic in the entire world. You know, it brings me so much happiness and so much love. So it kind of started from when I was a little kid. I was definitely the little girl who wanted to be a princess, and I was definitely the little girl who wanted to be, you know, running around singing every single song. And it started from when I was just so little and hasn't stopped since.
Now, I got to ask, Tim's wife is a teacher as well.
Yes,
she's got a lot of Disney stuff in her classroom. Do you have any Disney stuff in your classroom?
Oh yes. Oh, I sure do. I sure do. My kids know that I have a deep love for Tinkerbell, and she may be a few places around my classroom.
Very good.
Nice.
Yes.
Very good. When was the last time you were at the parks?
We actually, we were visiting some friends at Epcot, just about a year ago. We have some friends that sing, in the Americana tent at Epcot, with Voices of Liberty. So we were visiting them and, listening to them sing with the Dapper Dans too.
How outstanding is that? Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty talented.
Yeah.
They are pretty, yeah, so we were there just about a year ago.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And did your family go to Disney a lot? Did you guys, the movies? What's your whole dynamic with Disney and your family about?
Right. So the movies was the big thing. You know, growing up, we didn't have the opportunity to go to the parks very much. And so we did get, I think I was 13, that was the first time I got to go. And I just remember it kind of that build up, your entire life of this, you have this idea of what this place is, it's this big aura, this bubble. But going to the movies, my very first movie going to the theaters was a Disney movie. And we were always the first people, to line up outside of the theaters, to grab tickets for every single Disney film. And so, yeah, it's just been there. And I have to tell you guys that, I'm sure we'll talk about it in a little bit, but I had gotten sick a few years back. And the very first thing that I received was a 300 disc set of Disney movies. I think that my family knew that that's what I was going to need to get through this battle. And that was the gift I got. And I have to tell you that it was such a big part of my recovery, just feeling that love and that joy from all of the Disney DVDs that I was watching.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, why don't you tell us about, since you talked about it, why don't you tell us what happened?
Yeah. So it's 10 years ago, actually. This past October, I was in college and I was just realizing that something wasn't right, guys, and went to the doctors and lo and behold, we found a tumor on my spine, and I found out that I had bone cancer. And that's a big word. I was not even 21 and kind of just trying to figure out the rest of my life, and it just kind of has spiraled up since then. I know that might sound a little silly, but I have had an incredible journey the last decade figuring out why I was the one, that had, gotten chosen to have this disease. And I have to say that I'm cancer free and that I'm a survivor, and I'm so blessed and so thankful. But it's kind of led me to all of this that's happened in my life recently. And so as much as I know everybody's story is different, I have my journey with cancer to thank for really the most incredible parts of my life.
Yeah, because you had a choice. The doctor had told you that you had a choice on how you were going to live your life, and you chose to turn it around and kind of give back to a wonderful organization down in Dublin, Ohio. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes. Well, so when I got sick, I knew there had to be a reason, and I was thinking, gosh, maybe I need to be giving back to an organization or a charity. Maybe that's my why. And it most definitely sunk in as soon as I found Flying Horse Farms. So Flying Horse Farms is a camp here in Ohio that provides this transformative, magical camp experience for children with serious illnesses. And we also are lucky to serve their families as well. And we serve this camp experience free of charge, and we're offering these kids who have diseases, like heart conditions and arthritis, blood disorders, asthma, cancer, anything you can think of. These children who can't be kids often, they're often told no, that they can't do this and they can't do that. But at camp, we are able to provide this medically safe and sound experience where they can kick back and be kids and do these things. They get to swim and they get to do archery and go on the ropes course. And it's the most wonderful place in the world, filled with so much joy and love. And I knew the moment that I found them that was why I got sick, because I needed to find this place that meant so much to me. And it's been an incredible almost decade with this organization. I found them before they were even open, and now I've just been able to watch these campers grow and become leaders and teachers, and it's amazing, guys. It's truly magical.
Was it because of the cancer that you thought, I gotta find something with kids that are ill as well, because I know what that was like having to go through?
Yes. I mean, I remember walking into the Cleveland Clinic, and I was in their pediatric department still. And I was walking through the hallway, and I remember this vividly. I was walking through the hallway one time, and I just met these sweet little girls that were there together. They were there for their oncology appointments. And I just remember thinking, gosh, like I'm the big, I'm the big kid on the block here. And I remember stopping and thinking that I needed to do something. I needed to do something. And I didn't know what it was. And then I just stumbled upon the Serious Fun Children's Network. And, it's been a whirlwind ever since. And I do know, I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that I have had cancer so that I could have found Flying Horse Farms. And I mean, I don't think there's anything more pure in my life than that.
Wow. Sounds like somebody had a bigger plan for you than just the cancer.
Oh gosh, yes.
Well,
and these are big words, and I know, like I said, not everybody feels the same, but I am grateful for my illness. Do I live every day in pain? Yes. Do I have repercussions from surgeries and treatments? Yes. But it is all worth the opportunity to be able to serve these children and their families. And I know it, and I'm truly grateful. I don't know what else to say other than that fact that it's just, it's incredible.
Wow. Well, it's because of your attitude and because of everything you just got done saying that, you caught the, attention of, our charity, the NASCAR Foundation. And you ended up being part of their, a finalist anyway, in the Betty Jane Francis Humanitarian Award that they have. How did that all happen?
Oh my gosh, what an adventure it has been. One of my dear friends from Flying Horse Farms stumbled upon an email from the NASCAR Foundation. And I got a text message one day last spring saying, "Hey, Sarah," they call me Gidget at camp, so I think he said, "Hey, Gidget, do you happen to be a NASCAR fan?" And I said, "I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I've watched NASCAR growing up with my family." And he said, "Hey, what are some of your favorite memories or moments?" So I messaged back and said, "What about you?" He said, "Oh, I don't like NASCAR." And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, sure. So I let it go. And then a few weeks later, of course, I find out that they had chosen to nominate me for Miss Betty Jane Francis Humanitarian Award. And I was extremely humbled because, guys, I mean, there are some incredible people that work and volunteer at Flying Horse Farms. I mean, I can't tell you the caliber of people that step foot, up on those gates, at camp. They're incredible. And, it was an honor just to be nominated. And so it kind of just fell into his lap, and we kind of ran with it. And it was a very, very fun and rigorous process.
Oh, really? Well, I'll tell you what, forget the rigorous part. Tell us the fun part. What did you get to do that was fun?
Right. Well, and it was, so as soon as we found out that I was a finalist, we were so excited. And let me just tell you, after we did our interview, our camp CEO, Nicole Dunn, and I did the interview with the NASCAR Foundation's team, their interview team, and that was so much fun. And we just got to talk about the joy of camp. How much better could that be? And then I get a phone call. Guys, just get ready for this. I got a phone call from Kersey, who is my all-time favorite NASCAR driver.
Get out of here.
So that's a driver's name, I believe.
Oh, sure is. Yeah, so I get a phone call. Actually, it started with someone else. They're like, "Hey, Sarah, how are you? Hey, we're going to patch you through." I'm like, what in the world is going on? That happened 2 or 3 times. And then all of a sudden it's, "Hey, Sarah, it's Kersey Kane."
Anytime you hear, "We're going to patch you through."
It's a big deal, right?
Right.
So I'm sitting in the car and I pull over to make sure that I could understand what was happening, and I wanted to be safe. And so, "Hey, Sarah, it's Kersey Kane." And to be honest, I don't remember a ton of what he said at the beginning. I was so excited. And then I realized that I was a finalist.
Wow.
Because in that moment, I'm like, well, they're not going to have Kersey Kane call me if I'm not a finalist.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
by the way, you're not going through. No, he tells me I'm a finalist. And then I just start weeping. And I, at first, was embarrassed, but I think I started crying because I realized that meant I was going to automatically win $25,000 for my charity.
Right.
I mean, that hits fast. And then, you know, of course I'm thanking him and he's like, why are you thanking me? Like, I'm supposed to be the one telling you how great you are. I'm like, no, you know, cause I don't know if you know much about him, but he's an incredibly charitable man who also loves to work with children. And, so that started just a whirlwind, of a process. And, it was absolutely incredible, guys.
Now, is he's your favorite racer? Is it because he races so well, or because he's so giving to charities, or because he's just a good-looking guy?
I mean, you know, all three, right?
It doesn't have to be one or the other.
And you know, my fiance makes fun of me, you know, here and there because I always pick my favorite athletes based on their character and their moral value and their you know, their moral compass off the track or the court, you know, or the field, wherever they're at, because I think that is such an important part of being role models and setting these standards for me, for my students. And so Kersey Kane has always been someone, of course, he was an incredible driver before he, you know, had to retire this year, but also he is incredible off the track. And for me, that's the full package. You know, any sport, it's like that for me. But that was just, if I thought that was a treat, then the rest of the process was even better, if that's even possible.
Now,
it was awesome.
Did they know that he was your favorite? Is that why he called, or?
They did. So when we were filling out the applications, Camp and I, they did so much of the work. And they were asking me about my favorite driver. And, you know, when the NASCAR Foundation finds out that your favorite driver is X, Y, and Z, they take care of you. They sure do. And, gosh, it was such a special treat to talk to someone who, you know, you've really, you know, just enjoyed watching, you know, on TV all these years, but also just someone that just gives of themselves and has such a good heart.
Good guy. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you get the call from Kersey, and, then what happens? I mean, how do we, I'm looking at the NASCARFoundation.org site with pictures of you, obviously at the track. What was the process after you got the nomination? You were one of the finalists, and what happened after that?
So a week after I got the phone call, they sent a crew out to Flying Horse Farms to shoot my promo video. So I think it was actually less than a week. They said, hey, Sarah, actually, we've been in cahoots with camp. They weren't allowed to tell you. They've already have everything planned. We just need you to show up to camp in 5 days. And so Nicole from the foundation and a crew showed up, and we got to hang out at camp for an entire day. And I got to show off, you know, our incredible campers, and we got to hang out at the facility and, you know, got to just talk about camp all day, which is amazing. And then in October, so that was in the summer. That was later in the summer. And then, guys, in October, they flew the 4 finalists, the 3 other gentlemen and myself, to Kansas. And it was amazing because I have been a NASCAR fan for my entire life, but I have never been to a race. And so these other 3 gentlemen and I, they were just excited for me to experience the race. But lo and behold, I mean, the minute that we showed up, you know, the NASCAR Foundation, they have some incredible people that work for them, and they took such good care of us. But when we showed up to the track, we were treated like we were members of the NASCAR family. I mean, I could feel, and you know, part of it is, of course, you know, Betty Jane France, the France family in general has such a big presence, you know, with NASCAR, and not just the foundation, but the NASCAR family in general. And I think that there is this weight that is carried with this award, this positive weight, because of the incredible things they've done. And so everywhere we went, no matter, you know, each of us got to meet a driver. You know, we spent time, you know, one-on-one time with a driver as soon as we showed up, and we were down in the pit, and we were meeting, you know, we were meeting the president of NASCAR, and you turn around everywhere you go, and they wanted to know about us. They wanted to know about our charities, and they wanted to know how NASCAR has impacted our lives, and they wanted to know, you know, why we choose to do what we do. And it it was unbelievable the way that they, treated us and how we kind of walked through that weekend.
So it's you're the superstar.
I have to tell you, I did not expect to feel that way. I was expecting to feel, that way towards everybody else. But the way we walked around, I mean, every single person wanted to know our stories. They wanted to know. They said, we want to know the good things that you're doing in our world. And it was amazing, especially to watch the other three finalists. For yourself, it's sometimes it feels funny, to talk about yourself. But as I watched the other three guys, I realized how special this award was when we finally were able to come together, because you could see it in the eyes of every single person that we met. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. And I have to say, meeting Joey Logano was amazing. I mean, he had a pretty decent season last season,
Yeah. He's okay.
He also is a wonderful human who does incredible things for children. And it was a weekend for the books and something I know we'll never forget. I can't, when we got into that pace car, I mean, that was incredible. And just watching the race was amazing. And it was really, we really did feel like superstars.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, Tim and I got a chance to watch your video on the NASCARFoundation.org site, and
wow,
yeah, I can only watch that once because that is a very emotional video that they put together for you, and something you should be very proud of. That you have such an impact on these kids' lives, so you should be very proud of yourself. And don't be afraid to talk about the things that you do. And I know it's weird. It feels weird, but what you're doing is fantastic. So.
Saying that.
So the reason we have you on, by the way, did you get to go take a shot over to Disney from the track? Were you at Daytona? Was is that where they sent you to?
No.
Where?
We were in Kansas.
Oh. I don't know why I thought you guys went to Daytona for some reason. Anyway, that's okay.
That's
you could still go to Disney from Kansas. People have done that.
That is very true.
So the reason we asked you to come on too, other than to talk about Disney and NASCAR, the NASCAR Foundation, is coming up in a week and a half on March 22nd. Is the nomination process again. You guys got to have all your nominations in. Anybody in Looper Nation that knows somebody, it's going to be hard to know somebody as wonderful as Sarah is, and I'm not just saying that because you're on the show. The things you are doing are amazing. You got to get that into the NASCAR Foundation. We're going to have all the information on the website and our social media. We're going to link everything. But if there's somebody that is special and is a NASCAR fan and would love to do what some of the things that Sarah got to do, nominate them, get them out there, so that people know the wonderful things you do. Did you ever think, being down in Mount Gilead, Ohio, where the Flying Horse Farm is, did you ever think that, hey, somebody's going to knock on my door one day or make a phone call to me? Right. And say, hey, we're going to give you $25,000 to help the farm.
No. And I have to tell you, that is something that I know, at least not for a very long time, that I'm going to be able to do for camp, is by, financially be able to give this experience to so many more kids and families. And that right there is worth nominating someone alone. That is worth it, because $25,000 is life-changing for any organization, let alone if you winning $100,000. But those three people that win the $25,000 prize, I mean, it really is a life-changing amount of money for Flying Horse Farms, and I know it would be for anyone else too.
Right.
So that's not a small sum, and really, like we said, the reason that money is being given is because they want to be able to reward people that are doing great things in their community with children. And I know there are so many people that are listening in that know people that do that. I just know it.
Right. And that's why we wanted to do this, have you on and talk about this, because, people don't, so many good things are happening out in the world. We hear all the bad things on the news, but so many good things are happening too. And it's one person a lot of times. You're in a great organization with, it sounds to me like, a lot of great people. Yeah. And you got lucky enough to do this and help out the farm in a way that, like you said, you never thought you would possibly be able to do. Yes. And let's reiterate, the winner, so you have the finalists each get $25,000, but the winner gets $100,000.
Yes. I mean, $100,000 donation for their charity. That's it is incredible. And that just attests to the incredible work that the foundation is doing, to raise this money and to make this happen. I mean, they do this every year, guys. I mean, it's incredible to me. And I have a good feeling that there's going to be someone listening that's going to know someone that does great things for children in their community. I just know it. And I just have a feeling it is worth it. Guys, I cannot tell you, this experience has genuinely changed my life. It has brought so much joy and love into my day-to-day life, and I know that I am better for it. And my hope is that we can find some excellent finalists for them again. And I just have a feeling that someone listening is going to know someone fantastic. Absolutely.
Here's the information from the NASCAR Foundation. This is what they're saying. Now, nominations are now live for the NASCAR Foundation's Betty Jane Francis Humanitarian Award. They're looking for NASCAR fans who are doing great things for kids in their local community through their volunteer efforts. So it doesn't have to be, somewhere that there's near a track. The last time I checked, there's no track in Mount Gilead, right?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Unfortunate. We need a track in Ohio, but it's always too cold.
Yes.
They're going to identify 4 finalists who will each be guaranteed $25,000, like we said. The overall winner will be determined by an online fan vote. That's what you guys were helping Sarah out with, who will receive $100,000 donation for their children's charity. And we will have a link for the application. And again, these nominations are due by March 22nd at midnight. So we're coming up on the deadline here. So we want to make sure that you guys get let's get a couple of loopers, nominated at the very least. Let's get a couple of loopers nominated. Absolutely. So you guys are doing good things out there. Let people know. Don't. I mean, it's great that you're doing it without trying to get credit. You never thought you didn't do this so that you could get credit and win anything, or right? I mean, you're just doing this because you love these kids.
Yes.
So, I mean, you guys are out there, you're doing stuff, but people need to know, and it's inspirational. You are an inspiration, and you should be very proud of what you're doing for these kids. You're giving back. A lot of people, and I don't mean to be ranting here, but a lot of people get that diagnosis, that a similar diagnosis as you, and they just want to curl up on a ball and say, "Okay, I'm done. I'm just gonna, And I'm sure you felt that way at times.
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course, there's moments of feeling weak and asking why me, and I was very blessed and very lucky to have found something where I felt like, was my why. And I know not everybody has that gift. And, but of course, I had moments of being susceptible to that. We all do. I can't imagine anybody that has been in a similar situation that hasn't, but you're right. I mean, you choose to live or not. I mean, That's just it. Right. And lucky to have chosen to live and to be here and to be able to celebrate these wonderful things.
And I know you had said that things just kind of happened. I think you were being pointed in a direction, because if you think about the fact that you're at the Cleveland Clinic for your treatment,
yes,
and you see these kids, and it spurs something in you to say, I need to do something. When this is all done, I got to do something. And you followed through, and you did something, and that's the reward. The reward is helping the kids, obviously, but if you can, be recognized as well.
I am so glad you just said that, because, throughout the beginning of this process, I was like, gosh, I'm going to have to talk about myself and my journey when I got sick. And then I realized, yeah, but Sarah, you also get to talk about camp.
Right.
And you also have the opportunity to not only give your organization positive PR, but you also get to talk about the incredible things that are happening. And what if that, at the very least, brings you new volunteers or new donors? One person's story can make a difference. And so that was my approach, was making sure that I was looking at it from the perspective is that this is a way that I can give back to my charity, to camp, to Flying Horse Farms. And that helped me a lot. It is, because it is funny. You're saying, it's hard to feel genuine when you're talking about yourself, but I did realize that it wasn't about me. It was about our campers, and it was about our kids and our families. And that was my big push as we went through this process.
Wow. And see, that's the other thing is, we, in the Disney community, we're all very, very familiar with Give Kids the World, and it's a great charity. It's a great organization. But there are all these small organizations in your community that you guys have all around you, that are available for you to, like you said, Sarah, to volunteer, maybe bring some more volunteers in. We can't all get down to Disney and go over to Give Kids the World and help them out. You should if you can, but there are places close to you that you can do that as well and help them out. We're going to have links to the Flying Horse Farms, and of course the NASCAR Foundation. So if you don't have anybody to nominate, you can still donate. So, whether that's time or a little bit of money, a little bit goes a long way. I'm sure you can attest to that, right? I mean, that $25,000 probably is going quite far for you guys.
It is. And I can't say thank you enough, to the NASCAR Foundation, for doing that. I remember, guys, we were sitting at the finals because we got to fly out, the 4 finalists got to fly out to Las Vegas, in November. And, we were sitting there and we realized, guys, I mean, our charities, it's going to be amazing for them, no matter who won. And it's just like you said, I mean, it can go so far. And I wanted to make sure that, that the listeners are also hearing that it's not, that it's not all the same type of organizations. Maybe it's someone that works or volunteers in a hospital. We had someone that was volunteering in a NICU for many years, and he was one of our finalists. Right. The Boys and Girls Club, there's so many types of places, of people that are giving of themselves. And I just, Bobby said, it just takes one little spark, and that gets things going. And there is so much good happening in our world. And I think it is important to highlight those things and those people. And I, like you said, I really hope that we have some listeners that know some people. I have a good feeling about it.
I agree. I'm with you. Tim, I apologize. I've been rambling.
No, you're fine. No, you've been asking the questions everybody wants to hear. But I want to say that excuse me, how great, as far as a top tier sports league in this country, NASCAR is compared to maybe some others. Mm-hmm. I followed NASCAR for a long time. I go back to like Richard Petty, Cale Yarborough, Buddy Baker.
Yes. And
all throughout. And all the drivers, from what I've ever seen in the few races I've been doing, have been so nice.
Oh, so kind.
And so giving. And the NASCAR as a league is doing such a great job with the NASCAR Foundation. And you always see, the drivers doing things maybe outside the foundation. Mm-hmm. And it's a very patriotic group compared to some at some points. And I just think NASCAR is doing a great job.
They are.
Yep. I agree.
They are. You feel it when you met them. Guys, every single one of this year's playoff drivers showed up. We had a small banquet in Las Vegas for the 4 finalists for the award. Every single playoff driver showed up.
Really?
Every single one. And they weren't talking about the big, the big awards that they had coming up or the races that they had won. They were shaking our hands, and that, I just think that says so much about NASCAR right there. But then you hear them talking about their philanthropies and their charities. It's a very unique sport in the most beautiful way. I don't think that people realize how special that community is.
I agree.
Right. And for all you folks out there that are going, hey, they're just driving a car. I do that every day. That's not a sport. These guys lose I'm trying to think. They lose like 5 pounds every race. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, it's mostly water, but they are physically drained at the end of these races.
And it's dangerous.
And it's a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
They have wives and families and children that are sitting there watching them, but I find that they're just as passionate as soccer or football or, basketball players.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, make sure you guys, if you have anybody that you want to nominate, make sure you get that in by March 22nd by midnight. Go to the link that we will have provided, the NASCARfoundation.org /award is what it is, and nominate somebody. Everybody knows somebody that likes NASCAR, and if they're doing good work, make sure that people know about it, and especially make sure our great friends over at the NASCAR Foundation know about it. And we do. We have loopers that are part of that organization, and we're very proud of them for their hard work and all the things that they're doing as well. So again, and we'll have links to Flying Horse Farms. So make sure you guys reach out and help out, because there's need everywhere, and sometimes it's right around the corner from you. So.
Yep.
We just wanted to do a nice show, a show that was positive, instead of me ranting about gondolas all the time.
I was.
Oh, you guys crack me up.
But Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the show. Tim, I don't have anything more for Sarah. Do you have anything?
Would you like people to contact you if they have any questions on anything? Do you have a email or Facebook page or anything you'd like to throw out there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially if anybody has any questions about the award. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can reach me at sker87@gmail.com. Yeah, any questions. I would be happy to talk about the award and the experience I had. It was incredible.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Well, you guys rock. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for
pleasure.
Absolutely. We really appreciate you. Tim, that is all I've got for Sarah.
Awesome. Sarah, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com.
Check us out on YouTube. And what else should folks do, Tim?
Everyone go out there and help other people.
I agree. See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com.